my testimony, what was the title for my testimony? I think it was The Light at the End of the Tunnel. And that I titled it that because it's important for all of us to know that no matter what you go through or deal with, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that light, from what I've witnessed and from what I've learned, that light is God. Like I thank Jesus. I thank God for sending his son for us because there's no way I could make it on my strength alone. It's impossible. Um, so my oldest daughter, she's in high school. She's It's her freshman year of high school. She'll be 15 in April. She's 14. So her dad, I met her dad when I was 17 years old. He lied about his age. He was actually 25, but he lied and said he was like 20 or something like that. Um, I was a senior in high school. I was just starting U of H. So, once I started college, I was still 17. I told him I don't want a boyfriend. I want to focus on school. Um, he just love bombed me. Oh, but I love you and whatever. I'm not going to interfere with your school, all that stuff. So it got to the point where I just gave in. I'm just like, okay. Um, Little did I know he was pretty much trying to groom me and um, brainwash me and everything else. I ended up moving off campus, moving in with him. I did not tell my parents. I was so afraid to tell my parents. Um, and he just, claimed to just love me so much and want to do everything for me, want to take care of me, just all of that stuff. And that should have been a red flag right there. Um, so once I turned 18, I decided I want to get on birth control because he started talking about babies. And I'm like, no, he already had a daughter. And I'm like, no, I'm still a child myself. I don't want any kids. So I went to Planned Parenthood to get on birth control without telling him. And, when you go to Planned Parenthood to get on birth control, you have to get a, pregnancy test done. They have to do other stuff just before they can give you the birth control. Well, they said I was already pregnant. So I was 4 weeks too late. I was already pregnant with my daughter. I didn't know what to do. I was afraid. I was young. I was just, my parents asked if I wanted an abortion. I said no. I've always been against abortions because my mom was given the option. She got pregnant with me at 16, 17 years old. So she was given the option to either marry my dad or have an abortion. She chose to get married. So that's one reason why I've always been against abortions because she could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to abort, you know. And I really feel that children are a blessing. No matter how they get here, they're here for a reason. And God would not have put her here if it wasn't meant for my daughter to be here. So once I got pregnant, that's when the abuse started. Physical abuse, verbal, anything you could think of. I ended up writing a book about it. So I do have a book about just snippets, some of my experiences that I went through. The reason I wrote the book is to help other women, to help young girls and women and even men. There are men who can be victims as well, you know. But people laugh at that situation. People don't take that serious. When it's the man being abused, they think it's funny. There's nothing funny about that, you know. And these men really be afraid of these women. Um, so the physical abuse started, it would be things like, one time we went to Walmart and a couple, they walked past us and my hair has always been like long, thick, bushy, and they complimented me on my hair. Oh, you have beautiful hair. Is that all of your hair? And I'm like, yes, thank you. He didn't say anything. We get home, and when we got home, like out of nowhere, he just pushed me up against the wall. He had some scissors in his hand and starts cutting my hair. So that I just, I didn't know what to say or what to think. Another incident, of course, I was pregnant because, like I said, he abused me my entire pregnancy. When I tell you, it is only by the grace of God that my daughter is here, because I would pray over my belly. I would shield my belly. The entire 9 months, I shielded my belly. And I would just pray, God, please just keep my baby safe. Um, one time he threw me out. This was during, I think, Hurricane Ike, I believe, that we had here. All power was out. We were low on food. He threw me out in the rain, in the storm. I literally, all I had on was a t-shirt, and I'm pregnant, and he just threw me out. I don't even remember the reason. It wouldn't even have to be a reason why he would just snap, you know. So I had to go to the neighbor's house. They let me in, and he ended up coming over there to get me. And he acted like nothing happened after that. He acted like everything was just fine. He broke my cell phone. I couldn't call my family. I would have to sneak to try to go to use a payphone to call my family. And I would lie and say, I'm okay. Oh, I dropped my phone in water, or, I don't know why I would try to protect him or cover up for him or whatever. One day he's abusive, the next day he's just this loving, oh, I'm sorry. He has flowers, buys me things, this and that. And it's like, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And of course, me being young, I believed it. I'm thinking, you know what? If I could just pull the good out of him, see all of this, but if I could just be good to him and just do what I'm supposed to do and just try to help him and change him, and then it'll get better. No. So another incident, he wanted to have sexual intercourse. At this point, I was big and pregnant. And I'm like, no, no, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. He literally forces his way onto me, forces my legs open, and he pretty much raped me while I was pregnant. Um, I begged to go to the hospital because I'm like, I got to make sure the baby's okay. I need to go to the hospital. He made me get in the tub, bathe, and I'm literally in there like blood, all of that. Um, when he went to work the next day, I ended up going to the hospital. So I had to sneak and go to the hospital. I did not, this is where I should have told them what happened. But once again, I was covering up for him, and I was afraid because he would say over and over, if you would ever leave, if you would ever say, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So being young I was scared. I've never, I was scared. So of course, I go to the hospital, the baby was okay, everything was fine. Um, they did ask me so many questions, and they didn't want me to leave the hospital because they were trying to get me to tell them what happened. Cause it's like they knew, like the doctors know once they examine you, and it's like they know. Um, so from there I had to end up telling my family what was going on. And they came over there locked and loaded with pistols. Okay. When I tell you, they came ready. And he knew it. So he wasn't there. He wasn't home. My uncle sat on the couch with his gun in his lap and said, well, I'll wait. I'll wait till he get here. We sat there for a couple of hours. He never showed up. So my uncle said, no, you're going to pack your stuff and you moving with us. You're going to come with us. You're not staying here, with this. So I moved with them, everything, but I ended up going back. And when I went back, the abuse had stopped. By this time, I gave birth to my daughter. When she got about 4 months old, that's when I snapped. I was like, I was just tired. Because one day he tried to argue me down about something. I don't know what exactly, it was, but he tried to argue me down. I tried to call my mom. We had a landline, a house phone. Tried to call my mom. He unplugged it. My mom don't play that. She was at my house in 15 minutes. Okay. 15 minutes she was at the house. She climbed through my balcony. We lived on the first floor, on the bottom floor. Next thing I know, I see my mom in our house. Like she was coming through the balcony. She's like, I tried to call back, but I didn't get an answer. So here I am. And I'm like, everything's okay, everything's all right. She's like, okay. So, that happened or whatever. And like I said, when my daughter was 4 months old, I say about 2 weeks after that incident happened, I just snapped. I was boiling some water to heat up my daughter's bottle. 'Cause, you know, we have all that, you know, the stuff they have these days for the kids, bottles and this and that, all the fancy stuff. No, had the pot on the stove to heat up the water, for, you know, for her bottle. And I snapped, like I literally snapped. He was sitting on the couch watching TV, no t-shirt on, just like his shorts or whatever. And I grabbed that pot, threw it on him, and started beating him with the pot. Like I literally, when I say I snapped, and my baby was in her crib in the room asleep. I was getting ready, I was making her bottle so that I could wake her up and feed her, you know. No, something in me snapped, and I went to beat him with that pot, and he's screaming, yelling, calling me all kind of names, and I'm just beating him till he went unconscious. At this point, I'm scared because I'm like, Lord, I don't want to kill him. Like, I'm not trying to go to jail. You know, I got my baby, whatever. I was scared. By the time he, you know, came to it, he woke up or whatever. He's like, What's going on? What happened?" I started beating him again. I said, "You gonna take this? You gonna take it? You didn't put me through all of this. You know, like when I say I lost it, that show snapped. Like the show, I don't know if y'all have seen the show. That stuff be real. Like, cause I don't know what clicked in my head, but something just said, I'm tired. Like I'm tired. It took me to look at my daughter to say, would I want someone treating my child this way? Does she deserve this? Then I don't deserve this. So it took me to have her to, you know, I truly feel like God gave her to me and allowed me to go through that pregnancy with no complications. I gave birth with no problem. Like she came out healthy, everything. God put her here for a reason. And I had to look at her and go, you know what? This is what I needed to get the strength to leave. Because at any point, this man could have killed me. He's already raped me. He's already, you know, he's beaten me so many times. I couldn't even have morning sickness from the pregnancy. He would get upset at me vomiting everywhere and beat me from that. It's like there's so much that I went through every day for those 9 to 10 months. And I couldn't even I didn't want to put everything in my book because I'm like, people look at me and think they would never think that I've experienced anything like that because I try to be so positive. I'm always smiling. I'm always giving and helping and you know, I have created such a um positive safe space for my children because I also have a 5-year-old. I was married after that situation. I was married but I'm divorced now because I promised myself I would not have any more children until I got married, and I stuck to that. You know, the marriage didn't last, but you know, and I pray for my ex-husband every day. He's going through mental health things and drugs and stuff like that. So I never down talk him or nothing. I pray for him every day. Um, but yeah, so with everything that I went through with that situation, it's like, man, I have to, you know, I heard God saying that I didn't bring you through all of that for nothing. You know, it's not for me to be quiet and to be hush about it. No. I'm so afraid of speaking. Y'all have no clue. I'm so afraid of speaking. It's like, oh no, I don't want to tell my story. You know, I just, Lord, I thank you for bringing me through. But, you know, he's saying, no, you need to share this and tell your story. I knew absolutely nothing about writing a book. I didn't even know where to begin, you know. But when I tell you, God literally placed people in my path along the way at the right time. And for it to happen, I was just like, it's nobody but God. Because he's saying there's so many people out there who needs to hear this. There's so many people who needs to know that there is life after going through stuff like that. You know, it's like my mind just went blank. Hold on a second. I don't know why I just got nervous all of a sudden. I'm trying not to get emotional. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. And when I was at my lowest, like to see where God has brought me from, that's nobody but God. I could not have done it by myself. I could not have done it by myself at all. So I had no, like, my self-esteem was shot. I had no self-love. I did not love myself. My ex had brought me down to my lowest of the lows, to where I started dating women because I hated men so bad. Um, and after dating, a woman, I was like, this is not what I really want. This is not how I was raised. This is not, I want a man. I want a husband. I want more kids. I want, that's what I want. So I dated a woman out of so much hatred for men because I feel like every man was going to be like that. If a man could do me like this, I don't want to have no parts of them. And God had to show me, no, don't let that one bad apple spoil it, like keep you from who's for you. And I thank God that He brought me through. And I'm now at a place where my kids are happy, they're healthy, they're well taken care of. I'm happy, I'm well taken care of. It's like, God, I just thank you. I just thank you because there are so many times where I could have been dead. There's so many women who don't make it out of those situations, who don't make it out of those relationships. There are so many women who they don't. They're afraid to speak up, or they're afraid, or they make excuses for it for the man, or whatever it may be. They're afraid to leave because maybe he's taking care of everything financially. They don't have the support they need. They don't know where to go, where to start, it's like there are so many different reasons why. But that's why anybody who may have dealt with that, if you know someone who's dealing with that, there is help, there is support. I know a lot of people don't like calling the hotline or whatever, but I'm just going to put the number out there. 800-799-7233 is the domestic violence hotline. Or you can text START, START, to 88788. So I try to share that with everybody I can. And when I tell you, it's nobody but God. I thank God all the time for, for bringing me through the things that I've been through and what I've experienced. And I know it's all for a reason. It's all for a reason. It's for me to help the next person and to make sure that they don't have to experience or go through the things that I had to experience or go through. And to also make sure that my daughters never have to experience or go through those types of things.